Sure. Well, welcome, Benji. It's good to always see you. You are our lead moderator, and seems like you've been following the sport for a really long time.
Yep,
Matter of fact, that you are all about arm wrestling, including I was in a really niche live stream.
that's right.
Just pulling at some practice with like what 80 live viewers or something, and even then you spot me. So that's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
tribal pullers. I saw you there, and I was like, "What are they doing? Are they editing in East vs West Dexter into their thumbnail?" No, Dexter's there pulling. So that was impressive, man. I'm really impressed.
Oh yeah, I gotta get my arm wrestling fix wherever I go, right? So
And like I was saying before, it's like you don't see a lot of arm wrestling promoters, a lot of arm wrestling owners, league owners going out to niche little practices and actually trying to get involved and pull. And so that's cool. It's interesting. I didn't think I'd see you there, so that was cool.
yeah, tribal polos are I think the de facto live streamers for Malaysia.
They've
They
been consistent. I've been watching them for years, and they just keep pulling and pushing out content, and now they got
yeah
East vs West out there.
later this week it's the
Oh really?
nationals,
Oh really?
and it's being live streamed on Tribal Polos channel. So shout out
Hmm.
to Tribal Polos.
Well, I'll check
See if
that
they
out. Yeah, shout out
yeah
to them.
yeah it's it's always fun to meet the locals. I know you went to, was it Hong Kong?
Yeah, the Hong Kong team, boy, they're strong. I don't know if it was the jet lag or if I had a little bit of food poisoning, but there's some strong pullers out in Hong Kong.
Yeah. It's always fun.
And they don't have the opportunity to travel as much as they want to. So you'll see a lot of Asian pullers that don't have a lot of recognition, but they're starting to get out there, just like these Hong Kong guys and Malaysia guys.
Yeah, I mean, as the sport grow, hopefully there are more opportunities for people to travel around a little bit more. We do have, Robert and I have been talking. We have a long-term plan to uh to kind of grow every part of the world. So like almost a regional
Every
based type.
major region.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of in the works. We are trying to figure out how to get our main stuff done first before we move on and grow it, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start conquering
So
each region.
step by step, but we will want to do something. Um, but anyway, wasn't really here to answer too much questions, but no, Michael Todd does not currently have a match yet. Uh, and again, I'm not the only guy making any of the matchmaking, but
Talk
but
about some good matches. Wow.
correct, correct.
Todzilla Chafee, that's legendary.
I know yeah, me and you have been talking all morning about that, and it'd be interesting to see how Dave comes down in weight and perhaps Todd goes up in weight, or maybe
Yep,
he doesn't care. I'm
yep,
good where I am. I'm just gonna pull anyway,
yep.
not changing anything. Who knows?
Just
He's
Chafee going down in a weight, is going to help Todd big time, and it's going to be side pressure king versus side pressure king. It's going to be crazy, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, Benji, got you on because I think people needs to also kind of know, uh, what does our head moderator
Mm.
for our channels, all our channels, do? Like, what are some of the things that you look for when you censor people or you ban them or you suspend them?
Hmm. Well, ever since I've started, it's always been keeping the free speech kind of going. And typically, what I would look out for is any type of, real gross stuff, malicious stuff that's not getting picked up by YouTube itself. And that's really it. Or of course, spamming. If you're spamming, a wall of text just multiple times, you'll be warned. And if you continue to do it, you'll be warned again. And if you just continue, you might get to a point of ban, but typically you're just going to be timed out. Now, I've been Inkin's moderator as well, so that's a different context, and he runs a tighter ship. He wants respect. He wants no disrespect in chat, and so there I'd run a little bit of a tighter ship and remove a lot of stuff that was just inflammatory, because like I said, it's like a real high respect level chat room. But all the other channels that I have modded in and still do, so, you say anything really, you just don't be too disrespectful, don't be too ridiculous. So
What about occasionally we have people who kind of Drew. I mean, Drew, if you want, you're welcome to hop on as well.
what's up,
You're
Drew?
also one of our longtime moderators. Phil's another one. Phil
Yep,
Woody.
yep.
Um, yeah, but what about people with impersonating nicknames? You
Yeah,
know,
that's an interesting one. I think it's really distracting, and I think those should be removed. You shouldn't be like you could like if you had like an account that's like respectfully admiring them, then put some type of tag that doesn't make you look like the real one and you're trying to impersonate them. The whole chat's going crazy. Oh, Devin's here. Oh, Hermes is here. And they say something that's believable, and then they start saying things that are inflammatory about promoters. Well, that's not conducive to anything. I mean, I think the policy should be remove impersonators, and maybe you should be warned to. You can make another account. That's another thing, but you could be warned to change the name a little bit. You know.
yet there's one active guy that his nickname is Neil Pickpocket. Have
Yes,
you seen that guy?
that's a clear one. There used to be a few. Hermes Desperini.
Yeah,
Clear. There's clear ones, isn't and then there's ones that they're using the direct thumbnail, they're using the real name, and even I have to check as a moderator to see their channel if that's the real one or not.
correct.
So
Yeah.
I think it's unanimous that people think that they should be removed. Even people in the chat will be like, "Remove this guy. He's an impersonator." So
Yeah, and I strongly believe as well, impersonators are not okay because it sends a wrong message. If an impersonator say, Hermes comes in and he starts spewing nonsense like, oh yeah, I'm pulling Levon again next week on the left hand,
yep,
things like that. It just
yep.
messes with the correct information out there, and we know for a fact that it's incorrect.
And they
So
don't they don't appreciate. Sorry to interrupt. They don't appreciate impersonators as well. Like Devin and Hermes don't appreciate these impersonators. I can tell you for a fact. So, they come in all sly, and they start posting, stuff that's funny. And then the next thing, like just recently in a stream, I don't know if it was Neil's, if it was, I forget which stream, maybe Devin's, and there was an impersonator. And then after that, it was, Ingen's, mother. It's like, no, you're gone. You know, you're
what
gone.
about constipated Devin?
Yeah, that's a clear sub account. There's no questions. The chat isn't going, oh, Devin's in chat, Devin's in chat. No. So Devin's form, those are all
Well,
legit accounts.
Devin in the past has actually, put funny names right there. On when he goes on live stream, something he
Oh
changes
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But his
It-
main
no,
account, his main account. He doesn't have any little sub accounts. So there's no description,
that's funny.
discrepancy
But
there.
uh, Guts destroy you. I'll answer you this question
Yes.
later. Uh,
Oh,
and
that's a good point. I saw a message from somebody saying, "What about all these people that were banned in the past? Are you thinking about doing a complete refresh of all those bands, or would you consider any of that, or no?"
so I'll answer that in a minute, and
Okay.
because I have a way to segue into
Okay.
answering yours.
Good. Okay.
But yeah, so I'll answer that in a second. But for the most part, the first and foremost, number one, the Facebook account we have since switched to EVW Sports. And to clarify to everybody, and everybody might be wondering, well, we have a pretty successful channel, East versus West Arm Wrestling, Facebook page that has what, over 100,000, followers and subscribers.
Mm,
And why are we abandoning it in lieu of EVW Sports? Now, what happened was prior to us taking over, uh, I think about maybe like 2 3 months prior to us taking over, Romans, because I think Ingen couldn't monetize the account in
mm,
Turkey,
mm,
so he allowed Roman to go in and register the whole account ownership under his name.
mm,
And I've tried for a while because I'm not the owner, so I couldn't move it, and Roman couldn't transfer that ownership to us. And so because of that, we had no choice but to rebuild
start
it from
fresh. Mm,
again, which is why all videos and all posts goes to EVW Sports Facebook page versus the old one. And the old one we didn't want to like throw it away, and so right now it's only primarily used to share things. So for everybody out there who's watching this video, like and subscribe and follow the new Facebook page EVW Sports. That's how we can you know continue moving forward. So that's kind of
mm.
the idea.
Good to
And
know.
so many people have also asked me about, well, can you unban me on Facebook and whatnot? The thing is, I'm not going to do that because I want people to follow the new channel. So I'm not going to waste my time going there and unbanning people on the old Facebook channel, just so everybody knows. So like and subscribe to the new Facebook channel. Uh, People ask, are you planning to rehire Roman again? Well, would you hire Roman again, guys? Probably not, right? So personally, he won't be ran under my team anymore. I know Ingen leans on him quite a bit. So if if and when Ingen were to make that call, then it's his decision, but never under me, because I there are so many good people out there. Why would I want to go back to somebody who I have problems trusting, right? East versus West Instagram page. Yes, I was able to take control and ownership of it back about late last week. So now it's fully under our control back, and now you start seeing things again. Oh
Nice.
yeah, thanks for putting that post down.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Subscribe.
Santos.
Follow the Facebook, everybody.
Yep, that is the official EVW Sports Facebook account. Um, that shouldn't have any ban lists, I don't think. If there is, you probably did something a grave error by putting a link to a private stream or something. But for the most part, no. Um, Oh, hey, hey,
I
Aaron.
didn't know there was a lot of banned people on Facebook. I guess there would be in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, that list is pretty extensive. That list is
Mm.
pretty extensive. From a YouTube perspective, it's also pretty, pretty big. That list is pretty big. Um, but no, I will try at best, and I've kind of spoken to Benji about it. The new direction for East versus West is that we'll try to be a little bit more open, free speech. I mean, time and time again, we've always said we've allowed people to kind of criticize us, basically. And it's not the end of the world to be criticized, because among all the criticism, sometimes you'll find a few good nuggets in there that you could actually implement as an improvement for your future work. And I think that's a big trade-off. I mean, one of the big things about trying to unban everybody is that there is that risk of there are some pretty bad people in there. And I say bad people, not just impersonators, or impersonators are just one type, but those that are actively out there uh, with the sole mission to destroy East versus West for their own personal gain. So perhaps they have a competing league, or perhaps they have a beef with one of the owners, which is still not the end of the world, but they would create pirated streams and, basically steal money and siphon money out of the league. So that one, it's where we kind of draw the line. Like if you're, with you're entering that whole conversation with that mindset, it's not going to work for us. But, you know, is there going to be an official announcement for Baku event? Um, we are still working on it. Robert, Vitali, and Devin had a phone call last night, and we're still trying to make things happen. We're still trying to make things happen. So, yeah, that's all I can say for now. The Baku guy posting stuff about your inside information seems sketchy and bad intentions. Now, I think first and foremost, I mean, like everybody else, he's also trying to protect his own reputation, right? He doesn't want to be attacked as the guy who made Baku fail, so that's why he's trying to defend himself. So I get from that perspective. Uh, the reason why we are not really engaging directly, and that's why we haven't been posting a lot, is because we are trying to tell everybody, let's do a ceasefire. Let's go through the contract with EVW Sports and Ingen. Let's just get this done before so we can move forward. So that's kind of like what we're trying to do. Best way to destroy is bring back somebody who betrayed everyone. Yeah, honestly though, like guys, Shaw Classic is gonna be nuts. Um, the Shaw Classic is gonna be really good.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
this would be the first time that we did any form of collaboration work whatsoever, and we are going to be able to bring on the strongman crowd and also the arm wrestling crowd. So
What's
that's
the
going to be
strongman going to be on? Are they going to be on ESPN, or what are they going to be on? Their own little
they have
stream?
they have their own pay per view.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
Because
their own pay-per-view. Um, but the arm wrestling side of pay-per-view would be on our streaming platform. However, all broadcasts and production team, uh, everybody except the showrunner, will be from the strongman side, and they have done all the big ones, right? They've done the Arnold's Classic and whatnot, so they are very good in the industry. They know what they're doing. We have supplement teams that will be just watching and giving them a little bit of consultation and direction. But for the most part, they are running all the equipment, so I don't expect any blackouts. I know that's probably a little bit too early, and
too
and
soon.
and
Too soon.
too too soon, but it is what it is, right? We will have some of our team members on, and yeah. So I think production wise this time it will be a pretty good reset for everybody who's going to be watching it. They'll have a brand new team that's working on uh, making sure that we are. I mean, the strongman sport, it's a lot bigger than arm wrestling currently,
Mhm.
right? And we hope to catch up, and maybe we can grow together. So I know their production team is pretty good. So I'm confident that we will have very little to no issues. So
Um, is the setup going to be so that the strongman community fans are going to be able to just like walk by and check out the East versus West? Is that the kind of plan at all,
no,
or is
we
it
we are
closed
streaming
off?
it. It is closed off. Part of
Mm,
that stadium, it's going to be closed off. It's like amphitheater seating from one
nice.
side of the stadium. Uh, Tickets are relatively affordable. Plus, the cool part about people who are still on the fence about coming down to Colorado is that they could come on Friday to watch the arm wrestling on a Friday night, and then we will spend the rest of the week just checking out the strongman guys. So it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, right? It's
Hmm.
a win-win, and everybody gets to do a whole bunch of activities on, for the strongman stuff.
Does
as
the
well.
strongman stuff happen during the East vs West? Do you think there'll be a lot of strongman guys attending the East vs West competition to watch? Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe that's going to be the case. Matter of fact, so I don't know, Benji, if you're planning on coming down, but we
of
would love
course,
to have you there.
of course.
We will have a booth, right? So we were just talking last night with Carrie Shaw, Brian's wife. We're gonna
Nice,
have a pretty big booth, 10 by 20, east or west. Not only are we gonna be selling merch, we're gonna put an arm wrestling table there,
nice.
right?
Can
And
you do that
then
idea that I was thinking about?
something like that.
Sweet,
So something
sweet.
like that.
Get some
So
guest athletes to sit there.
yeah,
Nice.
anybody stop by, but it could be like, hey, and maybe people don't know, oh, what's this scrawny little guy, right? Imagine we have this video of
Yeah,
you, we'll
yeah,
film you,
yeah.
Benji, you're just pulling some massive jack, dude. And then like, oh, this guy's like a quarter of his size. Bam! He flash pins you. Right?
Some of the
So
strong men, I think I could stop. Honestly.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, I've no doubt about it. It's not just
yeah.
about size, it's about technique and also training the specific muscles, right?
Give them the flock.
So yeah, and so it's the whole weekend is going to be fun. We'll be able to um, you know sort of educate and bring more awareness to the arm wrestling sport
Yeah.
to among the strongman guys. So I think it'd be pretty cool. I think the whole event is going to be pretty fun.
That merch booth sounds good. Setting up the
Yeah,
last couple of them, they've been good, but that sounds like it's going to be next level.
yeah. Uh, Aaron, the match announcements are coming.
Oh yeah, how
We
many more do you think?
we so we announced Devin.
Devin
There
David
might be a,
Jr.
a slight change. We don't fully know, but there's a very likelihood. Uh, the reason why we're holding back a little bit because there might be some matches that will be we are switching their opponents and whatnot, so we're holding back just a little bit. We're going a little bit slower, but I mean for the most part we have a lot of the
Okay.
strongmen. Uh, uh, well, I mean Brian Shaw's. Before we even joined them, he already announced a lot of his matches. I think we might be bringing in anywhere from 5 to 6 total matches. So not quite yet. Not quite yet.
So you're going to absorb all those matches that Brian had as well? Those will be a part of the
Yeah,
East
yeah,
vs West?
yeah. It's
Cool.
going to be part of our whole entire live stream package.
Cool, cool,
So
cool.
we'll release the full card and the whole order and everything. Think almost at the end of this week, and then we're going to be start doing our podcast. We're going to be meeting even his athletes, including Eddie and Brian and and those guys. So it'll be fun. You're not just. I know some people. Some of the comments is like, oh, we don't want non-purist arm wrestlers on the card and whatnot. But
It's okay.
I, I think if you truly love the sport and if you truly have an interest in seeing the sport grow, you know that the only way to grow is through collaboration, right? Collaboration, and then you lean on another person and they lean on you, and then it's a win-win situation and you grow together. That's why a lot of companies they merge, right? They merge because they know they're stronger as one versus being divided. And I think the strongman is community that's adjacent, that's very easily brought forward. I mean, if you collaborate with the pickleball guys, it's probably not going to do very much, right?
Yeah,
Even though that's
exactly, exactly.
but
Because the
strongman
people
is
don't
like
want to see a fake match of just a famous person. Kind of like a no offense, Juju Mufu when he did his debut at WoW versus Mike Aiello. Everybody was like, "Oh, thinking it was going to be real." They saw the match happening. It's like, "Oh, this is kind of fake." That takes away a lot of it. So the fact that strongman they're actually strong and they could train for it. This is a great collaboration, like you're saying. This is
yeah.
huge.
And I mean, you've seen plenty of videos where Brian himself is actually training like crazy. He went to, I think he was in England,
Eddie
not too long
Eddie
ago.
too. Martin's with Derek Smith. Martin's Lisi's with Derek Smith. Laws is starting to do arm wars too. Like they're all into it. There's
Exactly. So they're
there's
not just
history in
fly-by
it.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It
are
used to be a
kind of.
part of Strongman before it got taken out. It used to be an event.
Yeah, some of them aren't like neck deep yet. They're probably like
No.
waist deep, but that's good. that's good
We
enough in
just
my
need a
book.
little
And
couple toes. Just get a little couple toes deep.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I was explaining to the team, right? Our vision is that assuming we have a hardcore arm wrestling scale, zero is to 100, right? And the idea is right now, in the past, we have always been catering to eight, nines, and tens, on like even our videos, eight, nines, and tens. But if you see one of our videos that we released last week about, say, Levon at the Georgian restaurant in Chicago with
Mm-hmm.
Drew,
That was a cool video.
that video was centered around picking up the 4, 5, 6 on the hardcore scale, right? And the idea is to bring those 4, 5, 6 guys to come to love Levon, and then wherever Levon goes, they follow him, because
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to make people love East versus West, but it's very easy to make people love the athletes who are competing in East
Yep.
versus West.
Just like
It
fans
could
of
be
Devin, fans of Levon, fans of
Hermes, so many people,
Akimbo,
right?
Schoolboy, Auden.
Correct, correct. So instead of making them love the league, we make them love the athletes that's how you really can. I think that from that perspective, is an easier sell than trying to sell the league,
Yep.
right? You know, Nobody's gonna buy pay per view because they want to watch me,
Yeah.
right, or watch Robert.
It's just like
That
basketball. Do they want to watch the team? Is it so much the team that sometimes they're dead loyal for it, but usually it's the player and which players are getting traded to that team they're gonna
correct,
watch.
correct. Unless you live in that area, that's what it is. But I remember clearly, like among all my basketball friends, they're like wherever LeBron goes, that's the team I'm
Boom.
rooting
Yep.
for,
Yep.
right?
Kobe, wherever
Exactly.
Kobe's going, they're gonna watch. Yada yada. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the whole goal, right? We're trying to bring and have not all videos, but some videos like the LeBron video, 4, 5, 6 guys on the hardcore scale, bring them up. The fours will go to fives, overtime, fives goes to six, etc. And eventually, that's how we can push more people to liking the sport, and then they'll watch it more intently. Uh, I do know that at some point we will have to figure out, the whole gambling route. I mean, many people have been messaging me about, hey, when are we getting something like that going, a partnership? Now, to clarify, the whole reason why, first and foremost, people need to understand this is we cannot have um, any athlete having any control over the sport. Like everybody's saying, "Oh, Devin's gonna, he's influencing the refs, he's influencing the management and whatnot." And I'll tell you why Robert and I have no, obviously every athlete has a right to speak up, right? First and foremost, everybody has a right to speak up. Fans also have the right to speak up, but we cannot allow uh, influence in a way that people are saying that we are doing so, because this is the biggest thing, right? We know when we hit into mainstream gambling, right? When I say mainstream gambling, arm wrestling betting is readily available everywhere. You go to Vegas and arm wrestling's right there. When it hits that, that's when you hit mainstream, because there are many people who would be more uh, engrossed in a game. They're more focused on a game. They're more bought into a game that they're betting on, correct? And these
Big
companies,
time.
they won't work with an organization that has a history of uh, catering to the athletes. Now, what I mean by that is, if it is seen that the management, we are biased towards a certain athlete, like, oh, you know what, the reverse of Caitlyn, where wherever Devin goes, he can go under the table, nobody's going to call him out, right? His shoulder, he can start wide open, nobody's going to call him out, right? And they see a pattern like that, then the gambling companies, when they cannot put an algorithm in there, and there's inconsistency
Loose
of that,
structure.
yeah, they're not going to be partners with us. They know, like, these guys are capable of fixing matches, and that is one thing they absolutely won't partner with, a company that manipulates the match outcomes, right? So because of that, that's why we're very insistent that we won't absolutely won't allow any athlete to make the final decisions, or again, to clarify, everybody has influence, everybody can speak up, but none of them can change the rules. And I think that's pretty clear right now. But I hope more and more Europeans are also getting the message. Unfortunately, I don't speak Russian, so if somebody wants to translate the whole transcript in Russian, you're doing so. Matter of fact, some of our videos, like the Lavon video, it's currently being translated to Russian,
Hmm.
um, by Alex Bakarazi. The
Nice. Yeah, he's my buddy from Georgia.
correct, yeah. So he also speaks and writes Russian. So it will take some time, but he's actually working on helping us do our translation.
Sweet.
Um, let's see, correct. Drew, that is correct. We don't want any Shaw Classic to happen. Uh, let's see, Brian is a professional. He and his wife, they have been super lovely to work with. Um, the cards, Coffee Mango, it's being changed here and there. We don't fully. We're trying to release everything by the end of the week, basically. So stay tuned, I guess. Stay tuned on all official channels. We got our Instagram account back, so it'll be there. Um, this will be a separate pay-per-view, because the pay-per-view for the arm wrestling will be hosted on our app on Kizwi, and we will have the strongman on Brian Shaw's pay-per-view. So it'll be a little bit separated. Initially, we thought we could put it together, but because we have a set amount of events that we have to host a year with our broadcast company partner, so that's why we had to be only on our app. So it'll all be on our app. It should be live soon to sell. We actually watch the next event live. Yeah. So
Gold
yeah,
star.
Gold Star. Yeah, Gold Star, our loyal sponsor, Gold Star, right? I mean, everybody go to Gold Star. I think it's the world best coffee, literally the world best coffee, and they have the patent for it. And I'm,
We need
knowing who the owners are, I've been really close to the owner. I've been talking to him. If you see his vision and how he operates at a very very high level, and his customer service is next to none. So everybody go to Gold Star. Shout out to Gold Star.
we need a Levon and a Devon coffee commercial.
Yeah, potentially. Why are you still trying to have Devonpol Vitali in Baku? It's touche. Make it September. Baku lost its chance, and England's. Um, I I'll have to. I know I've always been talking about transparency. There are certain things that I'm actively trying to avoid answering right now, because in the middle of negotiations, I don't want to mess too many things up by potentially releasing more information that might be changed. Um, and for instance, like, one day I say Baku's not happening, and then the next day I says, oh no, wait a second, Baku's happening, right? So I don't want to be, people are gonna screenshot and call me a flopper and whatnot. But no, it's not. Baku is not dead, and yet Baku isn't not dead yet. So it's still up in the air. Uh, Shaw Classics, we're going to ready for it. Oh, yes. Joe, that is exactly what's happening. So to give you guys little snippet of what's coming and potential coming, and I mentioned this earlier in the chat. We When we were negotiating, when we just in talks with Brian, and again, our conversation with Brian was very last minute on a Friday night. And one of the things was, when would it take place? Right, Saturday morning was the only available slot, or Friday evening. And Friday evening was the route ultimately that we've decided on. And what's cool about Friday evening, that this will be a test to see how much arm wrestlers are actually interested in watching arm wrestling. during that time slot. And what we are, well, at least what I'm thinking in my head right now, is that the UFC have regular fight nights, Friday fight nights, right? And every month or so they have a pay-per-view event. So what I'm actually starting to look out for, and there are many representatives from various regions that have reached out. They've always wanted to host an event with us, but instead of having them host a massive, pay-per-view event, they could start running all the regional type level events, right? Productions would be smaller. Maybe, like I was talking to, a representative from Asia yesterday. Maybe not a full blown, LED walls, walkout, massive coal sparks, smart machine, but maybe it's, something on a more modest scale, that whatever they can afford. And so it could be this Friday evening. So we'll have something every week, almost every week, right?
Ooh, like a fight night.
Yeah, right. And so this Friday would be maybe a representative from Eastern Europe, and so it's his production. And next week would be maybe Southeast Asia, and it'll be maybe in the Philippines. And the next event would be in Korea. So it's every Friday it rotates around, and it doesn't affect our pay-per-view, because our pay-per-views usually ultimately we'll still try to reserve it, for Saturday, but that's what we kind of do so everybody can feel normal, that every Friday night it's arm wrestling night every weekend.
Would you pull the winners from all of those different events to a qualifier and have those winners from the qualifier possibly participate in the main, or no?
Yeah, so that is kind of the idea a little bit. We want, and the way we're structuring things, because to be super honest, we don't have the manpower to run all these events. So we are going
Mm,
to delegate and give sort of um, the rights to run the event. Obviously, we'll make certain rules, like they have to use the same tables as we are. They follow the same rules. They need to have a certain level of refs there and whatnot. And should they make money, we'll take a portion of it and put it into a global fund, and once a year, the winners, they will send a representative and we'll pay for their flights and everything so they can come to a known location. It probably would be
nice.
a neutral country where visa is really easy to obtain, or there is no visa requirement. We'll fly everybody in there and just do something like, sort of a world regional kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And whether or not if they hit, uh, you know, uh, everybody, I don't know if everybody will get an invite, because that it's all a function of how much money we have, right? To use. But that's kind of the idea, is to give back to. I think East versus West shouldn't be only limited to mostly the West and then some of the Europeans. I mean, there are strong people coming from Africa right now. Asia, there's some pretty good guys, but we don't know where their power level is until we have sort of those regional type levels, so we can determine, like, hey, say Sean Crisper, he's top in Philippines. Is he really the top? Well, let's find out. Let's see him compete with the rest of the Filipinos to make sure that he's the undisputed Filipino champion. Something like that, right? And then we'll put him against the top guy in Vietnam, Malaysia, and whatever, right? So that's kind of the idea. We want this to kind of grow into an international, really an international sport, and everyone has the ability and chance to find a path, because over time, right, they start winning regional level and they win international level, and then maybe we get more eyeballs on them and says maybe they might be worth putting on the main stage. I mean, Ricard Borman, same thing. Like, we pulled him out. Even his case of him, how he ended up in East versus West, was kind of a interesting story. But he worked out. He deserved to be on that stage. Which is why we're bringing him back on.
It was a
For
good
a run.
match. Very good match.
Oh shoot! Did I just release that
Yeah,
he's
did you
gonna be?
just slip? Oh no.
Darn. But yeah, so we have a big interest in
Who's
bringing
he
back. So,
going against?
maybe everybody can speculate who
Yeah.
Ricard is doing.
What do you
So
guys think in the chat? Who's he? So just in, we get another match announcement.
yeah. So
That's a
Sine qua non. After all the money I've spent on the previous events, I'm glad a new tier is involved. Keep it rolling, Dexter. Fans, let's get behind the wheelhouse. Do not succumb to the internet. LFG. Um, yeah, thank you for the support. I think the whole point of this is to get take things to the next level, and obviously, we have uh, issues here and there, and I mean, we just have to learn from things. We and to make another announcement, we made a personnel change. The person overall production is no longer. It has now been replaced. We will announce, and we'll actually bring on the new production director on, and just do a podcast with that person, so everybody gets to know the personnel within the company, and you'll see that new background. So we made that change. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to push all the buttons behind the camera, knowing which cable goes where. So I need and I lean heavily on the team, and I think we vetted and found this person to be very very capable, and I think people would be uh, pleasantly surprised to know who we've brought on. So when the time comes, we'll invite that person on the show, and just get to know that person a bit better. Um,
Sweet.
let's see. I'm filtering through the questions right now. I kind of accidentally clicked on things that kind of, or again, guys, I'm not to be transparent. I'm just avoiding creating more controversy during the time of what I call attempting peace right now, ceasefire, to go through negotiations with India. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here's another good one. Uh, Coach Ray is indeed coming to Colorado, so he'll be one of our commentators.
Oh yeah, I was asking him in his stream earlier today. Cool.
Yep. So for all those who haven't seen it, Coach Ray is indeed coming back, um, and he'll be good. He'll be good. I like what I see. All right, let's read these for a second. I like Dexter, but I see a lot of movie like wanted stuff instead of hard hitting matches with group promotion. I'm not quite following that. Uh, you want to decipher this for me?
I like Dexter, but I see a lot of movies like wanted stuff instead of hard hitting matches with good promotion. So hard. So a lot of movie theatrics instead of. I'd have to read that again.
Yeah, okay. So maybe he's talking about maybe bringing in movie production stuff like Drew. Now, just so everybody know, and I'm gonna do this podcast with him maybe next week or maybe in a couple of days. Now, everybody needs to know, Drew is doing me a massive favor. If you actually know who Drew is, he's on the red carpet not only as a host for doing the Academy Award, Oscars, and MTV Awards and whatnot, but he has been on there as a Hollywood producer who has won 2 Emmy Awards. 2 Emmy Awards. He has done documentary on, I think, some powerlifting and whatnot. So, and he's pretty jacked too. Like he works out quite a bit, and he is doing our sport a big favor, at least in my opinion, right? And he has a massive amount of connections in Hollywood, and among them, and people need to understand this whole concept. And I've said time and time again, we are trying to someday become uh, free. Our stream will be free and open and easily accessible to everybody. And one of the means is getting on, streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, right? These streaming platforms, if we can get on there and people can watch for free, basically we don't care about piracy at that point, right? We can move on from piracy. I think our viewership base will skyrocket when it's free. And Drew's the guy to make it happen. Now, to give you an idea on how the whole Hollywood thing works, say I have an idea and I want to pitch it to Netflix. Netflix won't even pick up my phone call. I could be somebody famous and they still wouldn't do it because there's always that from my understanding, there's always that liability thing that if I pitch something to them and then they end up releasing a video or a movie that's similar to my idea, I could sue them, right? And they just don't want to be embroiled in that. So they
Mm,
always work through a middle person, usually an agent. And it's not easy for an agent to just pick us up and says, okay, well, we like East versus West. I'm picking you up as somebody I'm going to be managing, and I'm going to be pushing your league and events on, Netflix or any of the streaming companies. They have to vet us to make sure that we are worth their investment, right? Though yes, they get a cut of whatever they make, but they make in form of commissions. So if we are not marketable, they're not going to spend any time, contracting with us. So that's why, on a more casual basis type of podcast, right, on a less formal type things like what me and Benji we are doing right now, it cannot be on uh, the official channel because it's not seen as maybe not professional enough, right? So unless we are in a really nice podcast studio room and both sides are engaged, it'll be a little bit challenging to put on the channel with the fear of making it look like we are only an amateur type organization,
mm-hmm.
and so they won't pick us up. So our chances of being picked up by an agent is pretty low. So Drew's pretty instrumental in getting all these done, helping us being put on a well, not, I know Netflix not free, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's more easily accessible to everybody.
100%.
Yeah. Matt Rhodes. Yeah, we've been in talk with Matt Rhodes. Yes, he's in Siberia. Matter of fact, he's actually inviting us to go over there and have a collaborative event with the Eastern European events. You know, we're not writing it off as a no right now. We are just thinking about it. It's absolutely thinking about it. Because the other thing is that we are worried about is, well, then we also have visa issues going the opposite direction. Western guys going over there, and he says that's not a problem, but it's up in the air. Um, let's see. Another question about Michael Todd. I would say stay tuned for an official announcement. Not
Mm.
quite there yet. Stay tuned. How about, let's see. So Gold Star just met Go Coffee with a super chat. Joe Rogan used to do Dana a favor too by working his early UFC events for free. The sport grew and it worked out. It will work out for Drew as well. This sport will grow. Okay, and to clarify, you know for a fact that we do not have a massive budget yet. I mean, like compared to UFC, they can put on a $10 million production budget, and we're not even 10% of that. Uh, See, I'm giving you some tidbits, so you guys do the math. But point being is, Drew's on here because I brought him out to Arlington, and it was just as my buddy's like, hey, I'm part of this whole organization. You want to come out, And he took care of his own plane ticket, and he came out just to hang out. And was like, hey, I'm busy right now, doing something. You mind just showing me how to be a really good uh, host or interviewer? And it was the first one was the video with Giannis uh, teaching him how to pull. So it's an older video, and then he just loved the sport. Then he's like, dude, just take care of my just give me a nominal fee and a hotel room, and I'm there, Dexter. I'm there. I want to help you guys grow. Um, and you can tell, like, yes, I agree. I don't know very much about the sport, and he knows even less than me. But you can see his enthusiasm, and he's great. He's
He's
what
a
we
good
need, right?
dude. He's a good
He's
dude.
the guy who knows what the on the hardcore scale of 1 to 6 wants. He knows what the 1 to 6 wants. Yes, I agree. The 9 and 10 on the hardcore scale may not understand and may not like his style, but on the 1 to 6, which represents the 98% of the world, right? That's the big market. If you can get more 1 to 6 hardcore guys over more on the 7 to 8, that's how we grow the sport, guys. So don't write him off. And to be fair though, I'm looking at the comments. He's growing on many people. He's growing fast in his popularity within the sport.
He's just starting. He's gonna get better and better as soon as he gets more knowledgeable, and
Yeah, yeah,
his
absolutely.
growing pains with people, being irritated by it will be gone.
Yeah, and again, like to clarify, he's a host, he's not a commentator, and he's not an announcer. He's there, ground guy, hyping the crowd up. He was
Color
fantastic.
color
Yeah.
guy.
So for everybody who was in Chicago, who experienced that blackout, he was there to keep the hype going, the energy flowing
Yep.
the whole time. So
People were going
he's
outside, meeting with Brian, talking to Devin and whoever. So, and he was keeping them up. So it was still flowing in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. So in regards to this question, yes, the Robert's playing a bigger role in communicating with the athletes directly. Matter of fact, there was a miscommunication that we are finding out, and how to clarify it. And people have seen, well, there was a contradiction between what Devin said and what Vitali is saying. Um, well, so Vitali came out and said, "Hey, I'm ready to pull, and anybody who's saying that I'm not ready to pull is lying." And it wasn't like a lie or anything. We we because Robert obviously doesn't speak Russian, so we went through another person who misunderstood what Vitali was saying, that he wasn't ready. And that's why we were like, okay, well, Devin's pulling right and left then, because Vitali's not going to be able to pull. So there was that kind of miscommunication. So see, I'm leaking out another piece of information
Oh
there.
no.
We're not writing anything off, but you know, for sure, 100%, Alex will be pulling the rematch against Devin left
Left.
in Colorado, no doubt about it. But now we're talking about, well, we'll have to figure out the right hand if Vitali really wants to pull and wants to come to Colorado, because there's no way Devin can pull two rights. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah.
there's everything's still unsure, but it was also based on, it revolved around a miscommunication through people, somebody playing a telephone game, right? So last night, Vitali, Robert, and Devin was on a phone call, a three-way phone call with a translator. Alex was on there to help translate things. So there was, so to be honest though, this whole relationship things, we have a big problem because me nor Robert speaks Russian, right? So we always have no choice but to go through somebody else, a translator, to communicate with the East. And that's why there's, even till today, there is a massive misunderstanding within the East and West. And I can really attribute it to the language barrier. 100% of language barrier. The amount of things that we found out, that Robert found out yesterday, was massive. That, like, that's completely false, completely false. Uh, so it'll take time, and that's why I'm trying to localize a lot of our videos having Russian subtitles. We found an AI software that helps dub everything into to another language. It works really well from any language to English, but it doesn't super work well from English to Russian
Mm,
yet.
mm.
So I'm sure within the next year or so, when it gets better, then there might be two videos of everything that we send out there, right? Everything is in Russian and English, and then maybe I don't know.
YouTube is getting better too. I'm noticing their
Yeah,
own sensing software.
yeah, but look at YouTube, Benji. It does really well from any language to English, but not the reverse.
Mm. I
Auto
wouldn't
trans
know. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, the auto translate thing doesn't work that well. So
Okay.
yeah, there's that. And East is winning, Dexter's folding. Is that a pride answer for me? This is no, the East isn't winning. I think it's short-sighted to say, oh yeah, I don't want to lose, so I'm not gonna cave in. But ultimately though, right, if even if we have to cancel two matches or even one match because that one particular athlete, doesn't want to pull. because he doesn't want to be part of the league anymore. That's a loss to the arm wrestling community, right? It's still a loss to the arm wrestling community. There was no intentions whatsoever to we didn't push them away, right? And if there's a path for them to come back, let them come back. That's what I'm saying, right? It's not there's no winning and losing. There's no East versus West. It's
This
when
arm
it comes to
wrestling's losing. You know, arm
correct,
wrestling's losing.
correct. The whole sport loses because it will set us back years. It will set us back years in order to get this sport mainstream, right? So there is no winning or losing, in my opinion. It's whether the sport wins or the sport loses. So
Together onward.
correct, correct. Uh, uh, so there is an understanding that uh, so gambling is super outlawed in Turkey. It's super outlawed in Turkey, and Inga knows that he has to step back when the time comes when gambling is around the corner. So he understands that, and he also acknowledges that that's where the big sponsorship money comes in, right? You see, like the Premier League, for instance, like almost half the teams there are all sponsored by gambling companies because there's big money in it,
Hmm.
and he and Inge knows and he acknowledges that he's not going to hold back the sport just because the Turkish government is massively cracking down on gambling. So,
Hmm.
Levon, trying to think. I think he's about to leave. I'm not fully sure. I know he stayed behind after the Chicago event for
I think he was only
like
doing it
a
for a
month.
month, and it was going to be
Yeah,
like a couple weeks extra he'd have to do.
yeah. So, I mean, at one point there was also talks of bringing him to the Shaw Classic. So that would have been pretty cool. Uh, let's see. So, yes. So going forward, and I'm hoping that we can implement this in time because all these takes time to get it prepared. Is that when see we have four refs, correct? We always try to have four refs. The one in Chicago, we only had three because one of the refs couldn't make it. At,
Hmm.
I think the last minute. I'm not so sure. That's not kind of where my responsibility lies. So we only had three, but most of the time we try to get two Eastern and two Western. And so the two East and the two West, they can always alternate around. But the right now, the one change that we'll make is that we'll have one ref who's you know on the bench, not on stage, having a headphones that he can communicate straight with the production team and inform them and give them updates. So in the past, it was usually either the showrunner or me that will tell the production team what the scores are. But sometimes, even sitting on stage, we are like, "What was the score again?" Right? Like, "Oh, well, how many fouls? What was that? A
Hmm.
warning? Was that a foul? What was happening?" So it gets a little confusing sometimes, because sometimes we are really far from stage and we can't really hear what the refs are saying. So now we're gonna have a third ref at all times watching the match closely and communicating with the refs on stage, and this will also help communicate with the production team on what angles, what replays, if needed on the screen. So we are trying to improve that kind of like oversight, and then basically an additional eyes to the refing, I guess, to help the refs on stage. And yeah, there's a lot of things to watch out for, right? I mean, if you guys complain so much, try refing at a high level, and then you'll know, right? It's easy. It's very easy to criticize people from afar, but when you actually do it, it's kind of another level. So I, I don't typically like to criticize people if I cannot do their jobs. So I'll
Nobody,
just say,
nobody wants to be a ref other than the refs, and everybody needs a ref. So I love the refs, but we
yeah,
need fair refs, and that's what the fans want too. So
yeah, that is correct. That is correct. Um, let's see. Okay, let's see.
What's up, Todd Colazzo? Good to see you, buddy.
Yep, here's another shout out to Gold Star. They have been an amazing partner. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll if the owner of Gold Star is
Jump on.
okay, I would like to bring him on. Like if you speak to the owner of Gold Star, you know how big of an arm wrestling fan. Like in the early days when I spoke to him, he's just like, what is a coffee company sponsoring an arm wrestling? I'm not a nutrition company. I'm not an energy company. But when you talk to him, he knows his stuff. He knows arm wrestling. He knows
Really?
combat sports really well. Like, some of the a lot of I don't know, some of the ideas that I have comes from the owner of Gold Star. So usually after every event, I try to have a conversation with the owner of Gold Star, and we'll have extensive talks. He'll give me a sort of a debrief on what he thought about the event, and he'll give me advice on how to improve. One of the things you'll see, right? Say like this jersey right here. Okay, you see this is Skull Star, right? You see how high up it is.
Hmm.
So the owner of Gold Star, obviously, he's a sponsor, and we did it on both sides. But the idea is that most arm wrestlers, not me, obviously, have pretty big biceps. When they start flexing and they on the table, this curls up. So if
Mm.
your logo is way too low or in the middle, just a bit in the middle, it will cover half half the sponsor's logo, right? So those are some of the things he's seeing from from an arm wrestling and a sponsorship perspective, and that's something I learned. Like, oh yeah, okay, it's not about how well it looks on the website, but how looking it is on stage. And so you see that on thumbnails, you see all the logos big and apparent, and it's just these part of conversations. He gives ideas about, this is what Dana White did. This is what you should be doing. This is what you can implement right now. This is what you can implement later. So yeah, shout out to
Need a
Gold
lot
Star.
of need a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah, and you see that he runs a really tight ship. He has a really you know, big, big thing about customer service, quality. Because of that, I've no doubt, he has the good stuff.
Has he been to the events at all?
So he he has something that prevents him, from attending the event in person. Um,
No
yeah,
worries.
but no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
He
supports
will.
it.
Yeah, he supports it remotely from afar, really. Um, let's see, I've let's see, it uses I've already had my spot not taking anyone's. What was this about? I'm trying to scroll up a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, I see what he said earlier. He's saying that I was taking over Roman's spot, and I was like, I've had my spot.
Oh, okay, okay, that's what it was.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but then I mean, I never really thought about that. But you know what? Let's talk in private after this. He just gave me an idea. Yeah, Benji, let's talk after this, and let's work on something so that because and to be clear, Benji is currently not an employee of the company, but that might change after this idea here. Yeah, you see, this is another example of like going through live comments and nuggets, right? And enough nuggets, you get a gold bar, right? That's the whole idea. Um, Correct, correct. I think that would be the eventual outcome about the whole thing, and we'll give the East and West fair representation from both sides. But yeah, that will be coming in. Let's see. Greg Yao of East Side Arm Wrestling is a good guy for that sea area from Singapore, which is a great host country too. Yeah, I mean I think he had a super match a week and a half ago with Dong Duke of Vietnam. I
Mm.
happened to watch that, and I come to know him pretty well when he went to Arlington to be the quarterman of Valen Lau, and and so happened Kanai was in the signing room, and it was a struggle to communicate with Kanai and give him like instructions, and we want to do an interview with him. And I think Valen was just walking past me, and he says, "Hey, Greg speaks fluent Japanese." It's like, well, mind calling him down from his room? And so Valen, so Greg was kind of like
Yeah, I was there. That was
speaking
funny.
and everything, and he was like, "Oh yeah, 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 happy to help you." And then we ended up using him the whole time. We're
Yep.
using it the whole
He's on
week.
stage translating and everything.
Yeah, so yeah, these guys are amazing. The Singapore guys are pretty amazing. And you saw, I mean, he's a big arm wrestler too. So
Did Greg win? I didn't see that match.
no, he lost
Oh
to
man.
Dongdu. Yeah,
Oh
Dongdu
shoot.
is pretty legit,
Oh
pretty legit.
shoot.
But yeah, we'll see.
Rematch.
See, I'm actually 20. I'm almost 30 minutes behind on the message thread. So
Oh shoot. It's popping.
so is there any consequences for athletes said bad things about the league? Kalina said Shocklight is gonna fail and the league's gonna fail, athletes gonna quit, somebody's gonna steal athletes. Um, what would you do, Benji? Just want to see your opinion.
As far as what? Of the athletes.
Consequences for athletes.
Depends how severe it is. Where is that chat? I don't even see it.
Right here. So
Say bad thing. Yeah, you shouldn't be saying anything bad about the league. But there should be freedom of talk, you know. So you could say something bad, but then talk to the owners, and once that's cleared up, if you continue to be defamatory, that's not good.
here's my me and Robert's take. Okay. For for other people, right, for fans who have no direct access to us, like most of you don't may not have my phone number, my way to talk to me, then uh, expressing your dissatisfaction or criticism on Facebook, YouTube is understandable. But for athletes, if you're dissatisfied about something, like you say, hey, you know what, I don't like this rule change, whatever, you have direct access to us. You should express it to us directly. But if you're actively trying to take down the company that's trying to feed you, it's like the dog biting the owner's hand, right? That feeds him. That feels a little bit wrong. So I, but I get that. So Robert was, so the conclusion that Robert and I came is that we're giving, we'll give every athlete a one-time free pass. We'll give them a one-time free pass this time, and then we'll make it very apparent that they are not to disparage the league publicly, right? If they have an issue about a certain rule or a certain thing, they talk behind closed doors first, but you don't go straight to the public and try to pressure us, into doing something that we don't want to do. Example, right? We're gonna change, into a more UFC style prelim matches and uh, the main event. Example, right? And athletes may not like it. Talk to us first. Well, give us a chance to explain it to you versus going straight up and says, "Well, this change is going to destroy the league. I'm out." Right? Whatever. So there will be consequences, but we're giving everybody a free pass this time. Uh, but so there's that. Hawaii. Ooh, that's actually another avenue that I was talking to Robert the other day. Uh, they have some massive guys. I've been to Hawaii a couple of times for work, and dude, those guys are another genetically strong people. They are massive. So we'll see. I mean, Africa is another avenue we haven't seen too much. I was pulling a Nigerian. No, okay, well, I shouldn't say pulling. I should say gripping up with that guy because I was no match to him. But this guy, Klaus, whew, they were comparing his hands with Devin, and like they were massive. They were just literally massive. Uh, So there's a lot of potentials in Africa,
Oh yeah,
like to have an export.
Khaled, Khaled
Yeah,
Awa, when he was around, his
yeah,
brothers were even bigger than him. He was the small brother.
yeah, yeah, exactly. To be super honest, though, I don't think most Asians would have a very good chance, even in any time in the next 100 years, in the supers. We just don't have. We're just not built that way genetically, right? Obviously, we have some abnormal people and some super strong guys, but uh, not really. I could see actually how the sport goes. It's instead of just focusing on the super heavies, that the sport can also pay a lot of attention to the lighter weight categories as well. I mean, look at Conor McGregor, and I remember in the early 2000s it was Prince Nassim, right? So some lighter weight guys can also become
Yeah,
very
Mayweather, Canelo,
yeah,
Pac-Man.
Manny Pacquiao. Right, right. Yeah. So I don't think the sport will only stay relevant in the super heavies and the lightweight guys gets the second thought. I think it can also be all the weight categories. I think what's more important instead of the weight categories is actually the athletes themselves. I think the athletes
Exactly.
themselves, regardless of the weight category, is what will make it cool. There are a lot of guesses on who Ricard is pulling. That would be pretty interesting. Um, yeah,
Is it somebody from America?
I cannot say yet, and just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Draw
We'll get
more
we'll,
casual viewers. I think we need top level production. Correct. So this time around, like if people are just tuning in, we have moved towards. We've completely took out the production, our existing production team, gutted everything out, and we are bringing on a new team for our next event after Shaw Classic. So Shaw Classic, we're using the professional guys from. I think they do the Arnold's Classic as well. So these guys know what you're doing. But for the our next event, we'll introduce everybody else. Uh, let's see. Someday I'll get a little jab. Yeah, Coach Ray is back. Yes, sir. I think having a video review ref during the athlete's rest time would be a good idea. The goal of the review would be to make sure the first foul committed is the foul call. Hmm. I had a conversation once with Luke, and I was asking him about reviews on calls and whatnot. He was telling me what he doesn't want is to be a match about referees finding fouls. If somebody got called for, say, um, uh, say an elbow foul, right? Okay, an elbow foul is only being reviewed, but it shouldn't be like, well, an elbow foul is being reviewed. Let's just go all the way back to the start of the match to see if there was a foul start, no, a false start, right? So that's not something we want to go back into, and then you'll be just constantly looking for fouls. So that's something he doesn't want to do. Have a tournament the day before the main event and put it on YouTube. Yeah, so we kind of do actually, but most of the time, right? The main organizer, namely us, we we are busy. We are extremely busy, and we kind of partner up with a local guy. Um, I think this time is Bart Wood. He handled the event for Chicago. I think in Istanbul we had the world final qualifier. In Arlington, we didn't do one in Georgia, but in Arlington, we had the Texas guy, the TAL guys, Billy Ortegas. So he did it. He ran that event. So there is usually an event, but because it's not an EVW, event, like we are not the main organizer, we're just helping them with the venue and giving them all the necessary like support. The individual leagues like TAL, our partners, they got to decide whether it was live stream. and whatnot. So yeah, but it may or may not be on our main channel. With N on the files, Drew. Drew's a good dude. Yes, he is. Uh, who makes all the matches right now? Currently, while we are still in negotiating with Ingen, there isn't quite a single person who makes all the matches. It's actually true. Ultimately, Robert has final say. Now, I just need to clarify one thing about rules, matchmaking, and whatnot. Robert has been pulling for over 30 years. Okay, I'm getting it out there. Robert has been pulling for 30 years. He is a 7-time World WAF champion,
Woo.
still currently competing. Well, maybe this year is still up in the air because he has been so busy with Eastern West. But he pulled last year, and I believe he medaled.
And he
And
pulled in East vs West. I have a signed shirt with him on it.
yeah, I think he pulled East versus West 6.
I think,
So
or just once.
Robert, he may not be John Berzing GOAT level, but he's been pulling for a really long time. And matter of fact, John Berzing is actually his first mentor. He lived like 2 blocks or something like that away from
Oh
John
yeah.
Berzing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I just lost arm wrestling. I want to get better. I want to who's the best in the world. And so he looks it up. Oh, it's a guy named John Berzing. And he lives a couple blocks away from me. Let me call him up. And he went to Yellow Pages, like John Berzing. Let me call. And it's like, yeah, come to practice. So Robert knows arm wrestling. He's been doing this for a really, really long time. So don't think for a second that he'll let anybody pressure him into changing rules that he himself doesn't believe in. Okay, he knows arm wrestling really, really well, and he knows the people in arm wrestling. Now, granted, I'll admit this, Robert is a little bit more soft spoken, but he's very intelligent. He would not be successful today if he isn't. Okay. But he knows. So don't he knows the athletes too. Obviously not as well as a collective group, so which is what he's doing. So he gets consultation and advice. So he will call up certain people, right? I don't wish to disclose them right now, but he will call them up, have a long conversation. What do you think of this match? And so he's getting buy-ins from many people, uh, and even athletes themselves. Sometimes he'll ask me, "Hey, ask the athletes, see if there's anybody they think would be good to pull, right?" Then I'll go check with them, and they'll give advice. But it's okay to get more information, but how he chooses to digest is still technically Robert has the final say. But he usually gets buy-in from several notable people before say for like the Colorado matchmaking. He actually got buy-in from many people. So um, let's see, we have a 20-foot. Yeah, Gold Star is a very big fan of Devin,
That's
uh,
crazy.
because Gold Star is actually based out of in Canada.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Cool.
but they ship all across North America. I don't know if Gold Star is still in here. Just post if I'm wrong. If you ship internationally as well, other than North America. Yeah, get Drew. Israel is gonna be massive. Um, Gold Star. This is now becoming more of a Gold Star commercial, but great, love it. I mean, Gold Star is the, the support Gold Star guys because Gold Star has been supporting arm wrestling for a really long time.
My buddy's bought a few bags. He says it's the best. I believe him.
Nice.
I believe him. I'm gonna have to get some soon.
Actually, if you get Vitali to Shaw Classic, that's some Dana White. Hell yeah. If you don't speak the main East language. Yeah, ultimately though, right? Just to give that small little update, we're doing our very best to bring everybody back to the sport, right? And there are obviously a lot of concerns and rightly so. It's just like, I was giving the analogy. People are afraid of the dark. It's not the dark that scares them. It's not knowing what's in front of them, right? In the past, Ingen was very clear about how he ruled things. People may not agree with him, but at least they know where he stood on certain matters, right? Then there is two new random guys to them. Like, I don't know who Robert Baxter is, right? I don't know who. Obviously, I don't know who this Chinese guy is. Like, I don't know if I can trust them. So that there is that fear, and we need to understand that fear is real. The fear that things will change. So it will take time, and I think the goal is to give them confidence that and that's why I need to do a better job to remind people that Robert Baxter is a seven-time World WAF champion and still competing at the very highest level. And he medaled last year. So, and people know that from the East, and because there's a lot of talk about respect, right? There's a lot of talk about respect, how the East, they believe in respect, and ultimately, you know, they need to respect power. And Robert Baxter is no slouch. He'll top roll you.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
you
So
will. He's strong as he's strong, man.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
pulled him at Chicago at the after pulls. Yeah, couldn't move him.
Oh, you
He's a
did?
wall. Yeah, he's a wall.
Yeah, and he hasn't been really practicing very much, but yeah.
He said I was
Uh,
strong, but that's all. That's all being nice. I know.
yeah, let's see. Those are just let me scroll down. I'm a little behind 20 minutes. I'm trying to catch up. Guys, this is the Gold Star Coffee's um official website name, Gold Star Coffee. Everybody go check them out, order something. Even Hit Ref should have a mic to production team. We thought about having the hit ref having a headset, but the issue that we have is that the production team's continuously talking, right? And I just don't want to add another layer of distraction to the hit ref because he'll be listening like, hey, sounds off, or like, hey, speak closer to the mic and whatnot. It's like, okay, we're going to commercial break later, and while he's actually paying attention to the match, which is why we've actually not do it, uh, and we have kind of gone away from having that here. Written rules, correct. So we have written rules on our website. It's hidden right now and unpublished. It was accidentally released a while, but we need uh, the hit refs and our refs and to go over them to make sure that it's accurate. Right now, it's not yet because grammatical errors and whatnot. But yeah, we plan on having written rules on our website so everybody can always reference them. When we go internationally, it will, our website will become like the source of all truth, essentially, right? That's kind of the idea. Bring back the crowd behind the arm wrestling table. Now, I, my first, now to give you the timeline, right? We took over King of the Table after everything has been set up. So we were almost like guests to kind of like learn from Don Avis from King of the Table 13 in Atlantic City, and they had people around there. My first impression of people in a crowd behind the arm wrestling table wasn't the best because we had people who were like dozing off, like, ah, this is not my match that I'm interested in. Then they start playing their phones and they were like, being distracted. They weren't cheering, they weren't excited. So until I figure out how to change that vibe, because it's counterproductive to have somebody like being not interested in the match, right? So I gotta figure that part out. And if you guys have ideas, throw it out there. I would love to hear it because I do agree, uh, that whole intimacy vibe it lends a lot of energy. I mean, during the WAL days, I saw some of the matches. Everybody was like 4 feet away from the athlete, and
Yep.
they were just like cheering. It does give a lot of energy, but I, I, I'm just not completely sold yet because I probably need a better way to vet people on how
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
you know, whether you're
I
qualified.
was I was there for the WoW 504 when there was a cool audience in the background and stuff for the Double Kings with Dave Chafee and Devin.
Yeah, see, gold star. Yeah, I'm 20 minutes behind on my messages. My suggestion to help refereeing would also to be to limit how much each competitor's corner can yell, interact with ref, reduce confusion. Um, so the official limit, uh, just so everybody knows that we've put in place, it's maximum of 2 person per corner. That's the max. Uh, so just FYI that is happening. Now, how much interaction, Aaron? The issue about how much in rules we try not to leave any gray area as much as possible. So that way it's like, oh well, your elbows off, right? Those sort of thing. And once you start adding, hey, how much you can yell, it's like, well, is it a function of decibels? Do we need a decibel meter to measure? So it's really difficult, and I, I do recognize that there are some people who I mean gets a little bit intimidating, and they feel like they might influence the ref a little bit and confuse the ref. Let's Let me bring back to the whole team and to discuss this, because to be honest, it's also part of the show, right? And to be honest, it's also part of being able to give assistance from outside. Many sports, they allow refs to be yelling, like directions and guidance from afar as well. So at what level is too much? Maybe no cussing, that we could do, and we can list down exactly all the words are. 100% facts at Gold Star, another view. Um,
Somewhere Matt Mask's ears are tingling right now. He said there's going to be some banned cuss words.
Okay. So Goldstar pointed out he is a special needs child, so he can't travel at the moment. But we are actively trying to have an event, um, and we'll be biased to put it, in Toronto, and we'll gotta get you out there. But obviously, visa is an issue. Apparently, the process to get a Canadian visa is a lot more challenging because we don't have the necessary connections there. But
Mm.
uh, oh yeah, so Throwdown just supported my argument. Interactions is a huge marketing factor. Um, let's see. I love to hear the action. I never watch with the sound muted. Many times not legible. We'll pay more attention to that. Uh, Here's where the community maybe needs to guide us a little bit, because it's like partially in favor of let's hear the commentators more, right? I love the commentators. And then there's another side that says, hey, mute the commentators, or just bring their volume way down so we can hear what's actually happening at the table. So it's kind of torn right now, and maybe at some point we'll do a poll, and to figure out what should be the guidance on that. That one I'm open to suggestions as well.
I wonder how
Um,
hard it would be to have like a volume control for the commentator volume and then the main sound.
yeah, yeah, correct. Do more collabs with famous YouTubers who doesn't get arm wrestling. Uh, Ooh, okay. So you guys got a sneak preview of Devon pulling. Uh, it no, well, sorry, you didn't really see that video, but you saw that we visited the Diesel brothers. So look up who the Diesel brothers are. They have a massive following. I think they had like 7 or 8 seasons on History Channel building crazy diesel rigs. We actually filmed. Devon pulled a machine. He pulled a
Diesel truck?
machine. Well, I want you guys to watch the video when it comes out, but he pulled the machine, so that one's pretty cool.
Nice.
Um, let me go so go really fast. Um, I'm going to go pretty fast. Oh, okay. Is Canada betting the free pass to, or well, to be honest, this is the first time I've actually announced that everybody's getting a free pass. So I don't think it's been actually announced anywhere that people are getting a free pass. But now that I've mentioned a free pass, I hope people pay attention that it could be a free pass from what happened before, and going forward might be a little different. I don't know, but um, we'll take things. I mean, like I had a so the last time I was on air with what's his name, Ray, Coach Ray, I think like last week, and Kalina, no, Camille called me up, and he wanted to air some things out with me, and it went actually really great. It went really really great, and he understood my perspective. He understood everything, and I asked him like, uh, like how can I do better essentially, and he gave a lot of good advice, and now we're pretty close. I mean, pretty tight. I mean, if you saw one video that he just posted maybe a couple of days ago, he messaged me. He says, "Hey, can I post a video with pins?" And I kind of told him, and it's good for the community to know. My rule is that uh, no pins for the past event, the most recent event. You're not allowed to use anything from there, right? And then once you start getting further away, it's like 4, 3, 4 events ago. That's when you can start using pins for our video. And we love allowing people to use videos with pins, uh, but don't use it too early, please, because uh, we we still part of our monetization approach is we want people to watch our stuff, and pins may detract that a little bit away. What we would like is even if you use our videos, we'd appreciate if you backlink it to our main channel, the main full source video. Give us credit for it. Give the athletes credit for where their full match resides. So if you do that, I will, you know, if you want, communicate with the team, and we'll whitelist your video. Just so you know, we actually employ a team from the Philippines to help go through, and if they see any videos that fail to meet certain guidelines, like highlight videos with all the pins, then we'll kind of do a strike on it. And unless you're whitelisted, the Filipino guys won't know, and they'll just shoot it down, right? Um, is that button seriously considered? I think we like. I mean, like again, I think you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not an arm wrestling professional. I'm nowhere even close to. I'm probably in the 1%. The one low 1 percentile range. Arm wrestling. But the talks that I've been involved in, the concept is interesting because it allows matches to start faster, and there'll be audible and visual cues that it's going to happen. The problem with that is it's a technology issue, right? And there's an adoption issue. It'll take a while to get the technology built, table built. It'll take a while for us to test it, and we need the buy-ins from everyone in the world. Um, so it'll be a while if it happens. It'll be a while if it happens. We don't know when. It could be 5 years, 10 years, maybe next year. I don't know, but it'll be a while because that all takes time to build. Um, yeah, guys, hit the like and subscribe. In a few minutes, in about 10 minutes, I'll give a interesting and at least to me an interesting announcement. So I'm trying to rush through all the messages. I'm 18 minutes behind now in messages. Um, hey Benji, this you.
Benji Mac wanted to pull me a while ago, but I wasn't in the country and didn't know how to deal with this wild person twist out. Who are you? What?
Yeah, the 98 arm wrestling channel. I watched them here and there. I think they had Devin on not too long ago. Yeah, I mean that's right. I mean, ultimately, we want to have the 98% of the people, right, move more towards on the hardcore scale, right? We want them to move up. Okay, so I spoke with the dev team. Matter of fact, I had a meeting with one of a potential web developer, big arm wrestler as well. When he comes on, you guys will know him. We are understaffed a little bit, partially due to budgetary constraints, but also finding the right person. And we have full intentions We've already set up the structure, but we haven't had time to put all the data in for all matches. And we also have plans on putting a rankings page that will be, for all weight categories, both hands, both genders, and so people can always see, okay, after every event, that scale moves, right? Not quite there yet, but soon, soon. Neil Pickup would be a perfect matchmaker. Uh, yeah, I mean, he's very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable. He might be onto something. Uh, oh yeah, Hunter Nos, Drew. I don't know if this is confidential, but Drew, the host, loves this guy. Drew loves this guy. He says this guy has a really interesting personality. So might bring him back on, but we love him. Um, Win loss record historical. Yep, that's the idea. Houdini Sports. That's exactly it. If anyone in Toronto, email or call us a day before to see our factory. We have an official EVW12 in my office that Devin and Levon bought. Yes, that is right. It was shipped directly from Istanbul. So go Star Coffee. Check them out. Big shout out to them. Uh, we ship Canada and the United States. We have locations in Toronto and Long Island, New York. So there you have it, folks. Sorry for the Europeans or Asians. You're not getting any for now until they decide to expand. Uh, Everybody can stop ordering them from. And well, there we go. These guys have let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, well, give me 6 more minutes. There's a lot of messages. I'm just trying to go through really quickly. Stand by, because
Yeah.
in a few minutes I'll announce the big announcement, and I think this might
Like, hit
shake
the like.
things up a little bit. Yeah. How many
We've had
people?
a match announcement. We got Rickard Poland. We got
Yeah.
a couple
Uh,
updates.
it will be it will be a good announcement. I think. Uh, I hope you guys keep EVs based on World Elite rankings. That's what makes it. Otherwise, it'd be just any other promotion. I think it could be mixed. Honestly, Roy, uh, no doubt, the the top 10 guys, they're always gonna pull, right? But the idea of what we're trying to achieve, if you see like the UFC, they have, you know, 3 events in a day, right? The early prelims and then the preliminary matches in the afternoon. So once morning, once afternoon, and once in the evening. And the evening is the only one on pay-per-view. The first 2 events are live on a free broadcast, right? And it'll be we are not gonna just put random people, that we don't know on any of the cards. It's all pretty strategic. I mean, if you see like any other promotions, what are you saying? Like UFC is not doing a good job, right? So we are using a lot of their playbook to try to elevate the entire sport. Um, Again, we're not putting anybody that doesn't know anything. Like if Logan Paul wants to pull tomorrow, we won't let him pull tomorrow. Like, he needs to get some level of training first and be ready to pull at some level. Just look at Brian Shaw. You think he doesn't? He's not qualified to pull. Yes, he's not top 10 yet, but he has that huge following from the strong man that we really could use. So I have to respectfully disagree that we won't keep only the top 10 elite, only the world elites to go. We gotta look into collaborating with others. I mean that's the way to grow sport. There's a documentary called Vince McMahon. I didn't finish watching this documentary on Netflix, but like within the first, I really watched like 1.5 episodes. But in it, you saw like in the early days, they collaborated with obviously WWE is a different kind of promotion, but the whole idea stands. is you've got to collaborate, and it becomes a win-win for everybody. Oh, absolutely. I think unity is very, very possible. I think when the East kind of understands that, you know, Robert is not an evil guy. He's not out there to, you know, neglect the East and only grow the West. No, no, no. And when they realize that Robert uh, is not a puppet of Devin, is what they kind of saying, like, oh yeah, Devin's gonna influence Robert, and the league will be a clown show, whatever. Yeah, when they realize like Robert may be soft spoken, but he's actually a pretty strong character, then they'll this no nobody's
What's up, Jody? Jody's in the chat.
Jody. Hey Jody. Yeah. Now is this the real Jody?
Yeah, that's the real one. I checked.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Or else she'd be
Well,
banned. No,
she's gonna be banned. But Jody, can you please give only?
unbannable.
Okay, now for everybody who's out there who can't take a joke, Jody does not own East versus West. All
Is
right.
that the
I know
announcement? Is that the announcement?
that's the announcement's in 2 minutes. Now the announcement is in two
You're
minutes. All right.
early, Jody. You're early.
You're early. She, let's see. One thing for certain, we love Jody. We love Jody. Yeah, right, right. And I know the question earlier was also kind of revolving around Devon's corner person, namely Joni down there. But honestly, though, that it really adds some insights to what's happening as well. I know it confuses people. I know it can appear that way, but ultimately, though, I feel it's good for the sport, and and it adds drama. It adds energy. Really, sometimes it really adds energy. So there's that. Baku event unknown at the moment. We are still trying really hard to make it happen. That's all we can say. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Audio is cutting in and out. Okay, so the big announcement is prior to this live session being on, I have completely wiped the ban list from YouTube.
Oh wow.
So which is why this is a good time to make the announcement with Benji, because Benji with Phil, with Drew, you guys are our moderators and our backbone in keeping the our channel clean. There potentially may be a lot of work because some of the people that I released from the ban list
The
could
pits
be
of
really
ban.
bad actors.
Yep.
Um, so
Spammers.
yeah, it could be spammers, could be everything. But I feel like this is a good way to show people that this is a fresh start for everybody, right? I'm trusting you guys to not abuse the fact that you guys can now speak up. Uh, and to go over certain things, I wanted to clarify that there are certain ban words that are still in place, and I'll give you the channel guidelines. And I'll say this only once, okay? Uh, the word a-hole with a full acronym, bastard, bitch, cunt, dick, fag, fuck, and other variants of fuck, gay, idiot, PPV.land, shit, slut, telegram, VK, and psycha. Those are currently the only words that are banned on the channel. And I'm letting everybody know this. So avoid those words if you don't want your messages to be auto hidden or banned. So fresh start for everybody. I hope you guys don't abuse this fact. I hope everybody be nice, be respectful, give us constructive criticism. Um, I Okay, so everybody's asking me to repeat slower. Okay, I'm
No,
gonna repeat.
no, don't do it. Don't do it. They're
I'm gonna
trolling you.
repeat.
They're trolling you.
They troll me.
Yeah, don't do it.
If they troll me, then I guess they're back on the ban list if they really want,
Yeah.
right? Full word of a-hole, bastard, bitch, cunt, dick, fag, all variants of the fuck, gay, idiot, pay-per-view. Like, you know what? Maybe I'll remove idiot. I'm removing idiot. PP video log land, shit, slut, telegram, VK, psycha. So those are the ban words, the official ban words on our channel. Um, I mean, if they take things out of context, so be it. But at least I have the original video that it was taken out of context. People are always gonna take it out of context. So be it. It's not. I mean, it is what it is. I can't stop them. So, any last words? Any other things you want to add on, Benji?
No, it's just arm wrestling's gonna go together forward, and we need to stop this infighting. And yeah, don't be saying any silly things in chat. Don't be spamming, or else you're gonna get the temporary ban, and maybe it'll progress to the real ban. But we're trying to keep freedom of speech, keep it open and active, and just provide a platform for you to talk and critique as much as you want.
Yeah. Um, Again, guys, it's been a little bit longer than I would like it to be. I I seriously, deep down, I know that we have the potential to bring this to the next level. We thank you for your support. We thank you for your patience with us, working through things. And like again, thank you for Gold Star Coffee for being a avid supporter of us. And we'll see you guys. Thanks, Benji, for being on the
Yep.
channel.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.